before in some other conversation prior to this one that we are in the community. We're in the community and we're planted there in order to help the community to grow, to develop our community.
Right.
The established companies, Miss Beverly, they're here today and they're gone tomorrow.
Right.
At the end of tax season, if you receive a letter from the IRS, for instance, the people who have prepared your taxes, they are nowhere to be seen. And we, being part of the community, open all year round to develop and to put back and to develop the community. These people come into us and ask us to iron out the challenge or to explain the issues or to amend whatever situation it is that they've got themselves in. And it's amazing.
Right.
We're here to serve. We're here to assist, and we're here to serve in a way that is going to generate more benefits for all. And there are still complaints about not wanting to give us what we deserve.
Right, right.
And it is amazing.
Amazing.
Yes.
So, and your clients definitely will get personalized service. They're not just a number.
That's right.
As with the other big companies.
That's right.
Right.
That's right. And I'm glad you pointed that out because in our office and the motto of our company is to deal with clients in a very respectful, professional manner, and being there for the clients to treat them with dignity, to make sure that they get whatever it is they deserve. Because, Miss Beverly, we all work so very hard.
Right.
We work extremely hard. So why is it that our hard-earned money should be left in the coffers of someone else instead of our own pockets?
Right.
That's
Absolutely.
yes, that's very unfair.
Absolutely.
And that's one of the things we pride ourselves in doing is making sure that there is no money left on the table. And another situation, talking about taxes, is that large companies don't pay as much taxes, or they're not seems to be pinned down as hard as people who earn less money. And the reason for this, Miss Beverly, is that companies that are large, companies that can afford to, they hire individuals who know, like we at Compro Tax knows, the relevant forms to use and understanding clearly the tax laws to minimize the liabilities and to make sure the refund amount is what it should be. And that's important.
Right. It's very important.
That's right. And what our motto, what our philosophy is that we do what is right. What is right and what is good. And we have the evidence to show that what it is that we're doing is the right thing. Yeah. And one thing is that, as I mentioned earlier on, some of the clients have this aversion, have this not wanting to pay. Wanting to pay black businesses, because the first thing that they would think about is, oh dear, they're going to get rich. There's no such thing, because as I mentioned before, that our charges are much less than that of other people, and the liability is minimal or none at all, because we pay attention to every line of the tax forms.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
The other thing I want to talk about the churches. This is a station that is listened to quite a great deal by a number of people who go to church.
Yes.
The Bible teaches us, and all of us know this, all of our churchgoers, all of us that go to church, knows this. The Bible teaches us that we have a responsibility, and we have several responsibilities. And one of the responsibilities that we have to look after our widows, or orphans, the downtrodden, and all of those who are in need. That's what the church is supposed to do.
Yes.
I don't know whether you, the listener, your church does all of this, or churches all over the country do all of these things. I don't know of this. But one thing I do know, that if we are to be effective in assuming some of these challenges, we have here a vehicle, a wonderful vehicle that could help us to rise to this challenge of efficiency, this challenge of helping others to be more productive and more beneficial.
78941-680. Our guest in the studios tonight is lovely Dr. Lucy Lewis, the tax professional from Compro Tax on the Pine Hills Road. And our interviewer, I call her my lovely wife, Beverly. Live with us here in the WOKB studios. Our show is called Talk It Up Radio Show. And I just want to tell you about an event I went to last night with the diaspora. It was a town hall meeting at the Soiree Event Center on Silver Star Road. And I'm telling you, we have got to get involved with activities like these. It's going to be something that's beneficial. I was talking to someone in Jamaica, and she says, all we do is talk. But listen, sometimes you have to talk, because what talking does, it makes you plan. And when you plan, you will get some actions. We're hoping that the president of the association, Attorney Wayne Golding, will give us a call later on. He said he may. He's at a meeting right now. And I'm going to turn you back over to Beverly and Dr.
Welcome back to the show. And Dr. Lewis will be giving us some more of her expertise advice. Go ahead, Dr. Lewis.
I thank you. I thank you so very, very much. And I must once again say it's a huge honor to be here. And I'm enjoying every moment of it. That music that is being played, it stirs me.
Some stuff.
Yes. We were talking about churches, the churches and the remit that they have, the burden, not the burden, but the emphasis on what it is that they ought to do. The responsibility of the church is to look after its members. And when we talked about assuming the challenges and assuming the responsibilities, one of the examples that could be used to generate funds is taxes. And you may ask, Miss Beverly, how on earth can taxes help the church? An example, for instance, if there are 200 members in the church, and the minister would suggest to all of these members that if only they had their taxes reviewed, they could access additional tax refund dollars, which could be used to secure the mission of the church. Now, isn't that a wonderful thing? If there are 200 members in the church and these people file taxes, they've already done their taxes, and because of the experience and because of the evidence, because of what we know to be true, many of these tax returns still have money left on the table. There is still money left in the coffers of someone else and not in the coffers of the members. So if they were to have their taxes amended and let the church have some of that money, for instance, wouldn't that be a wonderful thing?
That would be awesome.
That would be awesome. So if there are 200 members, and there is, because, for example, some of the amendments that I've done, there is usually 1,000 plus left on the table. And if these members should generate 50% of that to the church,
Right.
what a great situation that would be. And you know what? The church, because of the dynamics of the church, because how the church is set up, have members already that would do anything that the minister would deem them do. Anything at all that the minister would ask these members to do, they would jump over hoops to do this. The church is in a viable position, is in a very good position to set up schools, supermarkets, hospitals, several other projects, several other institutions that we as individuals cannot do because we don't have that sort of money to do those
Right.
things. But the churches, they have that sort of money. And with the encouragement of the ministers and the vision of the ministers to be able to see how this could benefit the community, because it's already a module that is already set up. The Compro tax model is a model that could be redone in any situation. It could be copied, it could be duplicated, it could be replicated in any situation, because all it is that you help other people to do the things that are beneficial. And as a famous salesperson once says, help other people to get what they want, and in turn you will get what you want. And that's our model. And the church, I cannot stop talking about the church, and the reason why I cannot do this, Miss Beverly, is that the church or churches are our biggest institutions with money.
Right.
Don't have to go to the bank to borrow money to start a business, because our churches, they have that money. So with the vision, with the leadership of the pastors, we could go a long way. And if there are pastors out there, because I've done taxes for a lot of ministers, and they haven't sent their members in to do their taxes with us. Because if they had sent their members in, we would know. Everyone that comes into our office, they sign in. So we ask, and on their approach to the office, how did you manage to know about us? And they would have told us, my pastor sent me. One or two have sent their members on to see us,
Right.
but majority of them haven't. So if these ministers, for instance, if they have the vision and know the power, know what it is that they can do with the number of members that they have and the amount of money they have in the church, that would be a wonderful thing. So what I would like is that the ministers would call in and tell us, why is it that they do not see this as a viable opportunity to help their members? For instance, if the tax is amended, and after the expense, the cost of the return is done, and you end up with the minimum of $60. That's $60 that you did not have before.
Amazing.
Yes. One example I have in mind, and this was last week. A client came in, and I did her 2014 taxes. I've never met her before 2014, this year rather, for last year's taxes.
Right.
I talked to her about amending her 2014 taxes. And after the amendment, she had over $400. She thought she had over $400, but she had $700 left over that she could have received.
Wow.
And she didn't believe that was enough money to have her taxes amended. Now, isn't that a shame?
Wow.
Even if there is $50, which of course after amendment there's always very much more than $50, much more, there are hundreds of dollars. So after amendment, and you have money in your pocket that you didn't have before, I cannot see why is it that an individual wouldn't amend
Want
their
to do
taxes.
it, exactly.
Yeah, I just can't understand that. And you know, one of the reasons I think is apathy, not wanting to do things, because in this country it would appear that individuals want others to do things for them, you know, without them taking responsibility.
Right.
And we're quite prepared. We're quite prepared to do things and do things for individuals if they will follow instructions.
Right.
And I don't see any sense in an individual having money left on the table and do not want to access that money. It costs nothing.
Right.
Because in our office, all our affiliates are trained to look at a return and could tell you immediately what forms that are needed to access money, and the benefits are told to the taxpayer after the fees are taken out. So if there is no benefit, there would no taxes be done. So it's a win-win situation.
Right.
They would not have lost anything at all. And it's amazing. So what I would like is for ministers to understand what is being said about amendment and how it could affect their community in a very positive way, how it could affect the church in terms of the church having money to help the widows, the orphans, the homeless, and for church funds and lots of other things. Instead of paying $100 to shake your pastor's hand, the pastor can actually plan to use that money in an effective way to help others.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yes.
The next thing that I would want to talk about, I've talked extensively about amendments and how this would be a benefit to individuals in every scenario, is taxes. Who are we? Who are Compro Tax? Compro Tax has been established over 32 years ago. The company was founded by 3 individuals. I met Dr. Jackie Mayfield in 2000, 2001, when I was on a tour of Ghana and Egypt. We were on an airplane together, and Dr. Mayfield asked, Miss Lucy, why didn't you do taxes? I said, certainly not. I don't want to do taxes. There's no need for me to do anything. I just jet around the world and enjoy myself. And he said to me, what about people in the community that are needy people without anyone caring for them? And that touched my heart.
Yes.
After having listened to Dr. Mayfield talked extensively about his vision for Compro Tax and how the vision and model can be replicated to generate businesses in our community that we owned. Because you know what, Miss Beverly? Wherever we go in the world, we're not respected as individuals in our own rights because we have no money as such. We haven't got any entities that can stand up and be reckoned with. Money is important. They say money is the root of all evil. But if it is the root of all evil, why the church have so much of it? I shouldn't have said that, should I?
That's a good point.
So that money is needed in our community in order for us to build our own, so that we could educate our children ourselves without them being miseducated, that we can build hospitals, that we can build supermarkets. And if the church owned the supermarkets, who do you think would be the patrons? Who do you think would be the shoppers there? Because we have already got our customers. We've got members in our community that will shop in our supermarkets and so on. So Compro Tax has been established over 30-odd years ago. We are the only office in Florida. Isn't that a shame? So we are an expansion office. What do we mean by an expansion office? An expansion office is an office whereby we allow people to have a franchise that doesn't cost $150,000 to $500,000. The franchise cost is the cost of the material. Once you pay for the material and you pass the course, which is a 17 weeks course, you work from our office and you have provisional time to grow. What do I mean by provisional time to grow? You sit in our office and everything is provided for you. Everything is paid for. The only thing that you have to do as an affiliate is go get the people. How easy can that be?
Right.
You don't have to pay a bill. You don't have to do anything. You are trained. You are taught. You are helped. You're assisted of how to build your business, and it for whatever time it takes. Mind you, you don't want someone to sit in your office and roost. You want somebody to learn, to generate their business, and to leave out of there and replicate, to duplicate themselves. So all that's needed for you, the office equipment, the telephone, the software, space to work. And the moment you pass that exam, after the 17 weeks course, you talk about, this is my office, and you're welcomed. You have all the facilities there available for you, and you learn the business, go into your own office. Once you reach the level of parity, parity means that you can pay your own bills because you have enough clients to be able to do that, and you do the same for others. Isn't that a wonderful system?
That's wonderful.
All you do is replicate yourself, and it doesn't cost thousands and thousands of dollars like other franchise companies or other franchisees would cost you. All you have to do is go get the people. Go get the people, and you talk extensively about your knowledge, because you have a good training about your knowledge and how it is that you can change people's lives. So our tax class starts in July and finish in November. It's a 17 weeks course, and it costs very little money, and we have room for expansion.
We're going to studios. I'm telling you, my radio audience, it's been 3 weeks since we've been on the air with you guys, and it's been a wonderful experience. Every day is a learning curve for us, and we're learning. I want to announce that next week, the first Saturday in May, is going to be one of our best shows. We have a great show lined up for you. You can't miss it. Tell your friends, tell your mama, your daddy, call your friends in Jamaica, overseas. Tell them they cannot miss this show. They have got to give a listen. And it's going to be a big surprise. We don't want to give anything away. We just want you to come and just relax and learn, listen, and laugh. And we're back in the studios with Dr. Lucy Lewis and Beverly Martin. Let's talk it up.
Welcome back. Dr. Lewis, you were so eloquently telling us about your tax classes starting up in July. So go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, at Compro Tax, at our office at 4516 North Pine Hills Road, Orlando, Florida, just across North Lane. We have an annual tax class starting in July and concludes in November. It's a 17 weeks class, and it's 1 day a week at 4 hours. And at the end, we have an open book test. And when you pass the test, you are awarded a certificate, and then you're eligible to prepare taxes under supervision. And that's an extremely wonderful position to be. And you know what, Miss Beverly? What a lot of individuals don't seem to understand, when you have a job just over broke, J-O-B, once you have retired, if you unfortunate enough to have died before retirement, you cannot pass that job on to anyone.
Right.
Having a tax franchise with the Compro Tax system as an affiliate of Compro Tax, that business of yours, the business of yours can be passed on to your children, your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren, and many generations to come, and pass it on to whomever you wish. And you keep your money in the family. Instead of your money filtering out of your hands, it stays within your family. The Compro Tax data center is in Beaumont, Texas, and it is a beautiful building. We have conventions, there is weddings, there's inaugurations, there's lots of wonderful things happening. And the story about the building, I was there when the building was first opened, and we heard about the challenges to have such a landmark, which is a real eye candy, a beauty to behold. And that's what we want here in Orlando, in all the cities of the United States, where people can say, yes, that's our building, and we have a share, and we're part of that. Our phone number is 407-290-8433, and the cell phone number is 321-285-9617. And you can always talk to me. And you know, Miss Beverly, one of the wonderful things about Comprotax and the founder members, we have access to their private telephones and whatever, 24 hours. We are a family company, a company that cares for each other. And the great motto is, because you are, I am. We are together, and because of you, I am.
Great.
We work together. We're not stepping over one to get to the other. We're not crabs in a barrel trying to look over our shoulders what anyone is doing. We help each other. And if there was a challenge, and thank God I have not come across such a challenge, if I had a challenge with any tax file, for instance, I could pick up my phone at any time and call one of the founder members. Those established companies, do you think those franchisees here can call the founder members of the established companies? I don't think so.
Right.
But in Comprotax, because we're a family, because we're community orientated, because we want the best for everyone so that there's a win-win situation, we're all in this together. There's not a situation which is me and a them. It's together. We're all together.
That's amazing. So you're in business for yourself, but not by yourself.
Exactly.
You have help.
That's right. Exactly. And for the life of me, I cannot understand why individuals wouldn't see this as a viable concern when, Miss Beverly, all it is that an individual needs, an affiliate needs, is to go get the people.
Right.
Everything else is provided. Yes, sir.
Dr. Lewis, I have a question for you. As you know, I'm a procrastinator. And they should call my middle name Amendments. And until I met you, I was always worried, stiff of the IRS. One time they sent me a letter and I just put it in the trash because I didn't want to read it. But I know from you I've learned about amendments, and I'm thinking that there are more people like me out there who are giving their money away, and even though you're supposed to pay tax, sometimes when you overpay, you've taught me that don't worry, it can be amended,
Yes.
Legally, if you have a minute. Go ahead.
You are not a procrastinator. And if you are, you're not the only one.
Okay.
Many individuals are afraid of the IRS, as you quite rightly says. But you know something? Knowledge is power.
True.
When you don't know that you don't know.
Right.
Exactly.
But when you do know, and what it is that the taxpayer would come into me and present to me as a challenge. And when I read whatever the correspondence is, that's not a challenge. That's a simple situation. But when we get these official letters from the IRS, we crumble and we don't want to read them. When you have the knowledge, when you understand what each line of a 1040, 1120, a 1065, 1120S, when you understand what you're doing, there is no longer a challenge.
All those numbers you call, Dr. Lewis, I only know one.
You're not supposed to know them all.
That's why I come to you.
That's why she's a tax professional.
That's right. My job is to know those forms. My job is to make sure a good job is done. And you're very right. And for the individual, no matter who you are, whether you're a doctor, a teacher, a dentist, or whatever, you're not a tax professional. I am.
Right.
And coming to or giving your business to a tax professional that you do know that is going to do the very best for you is something that is very, very important. It's very critical, in fact. I have a client for the first time this year. She told me, I have been doing my taxes for 20 years. I said to her, you know something? I can do a better job than ever you can imagine. She was a little bit affronted, and she said to me afterwards, why was it that you are so sure that you could do a better job than I could, even though I've been doing taxes for 20 years? I said, I know my business, that's all. I know my business. I know what it is that I'm supposed to do. And here in this country, when I lived in England for most of my life. And a friend of mine said to me, here, knowledge is something nobody gives you any information. Knowledge is powerful. Yeah. Not only here, all over the world, knowledge is imperative. It's important. It's vital. If you don't have the knowledge, irrespective of the credentials behind your name, and you're not a tax professional, you should leave tax preparation to the individual who cares. Mind you, there are different types of tax professionals. There are some of us, for instance, who I call predators, and forgive me for that nasty word. Who and what is a predator? A predator would set up shop at the beginning of tax season, and by the end of tax season, they're nowhere to be found. When we get one of those nasty letters from the IRS, there is absolutely no one to read those letters. And you know something, sir? Even if they read the letters, they cannot understand what it is that needs to be done.
Right.
I like the way you nicely put it. Predators. We call them thief. Nyaman scram. Predators. Predators
take and do not give anything back.
Yes.
In our community, the motto of Compro Tax is to be in the community and to build. I remember Dr. Mayfield said, Miss Lucy, go right next door to those established people. Treat people with dignity, treat them with respect, and do the very best you can, and you will win over in the end. And that's very, very true. Yeah, predators are the people who have no care, who have no interest, and
no class.
And no class.
I'll say it for you.
And no class. We're here in the community for the long haul to build and to make sure that there is benefits and it's a win-win situation for all. And that's important.
Dr. Lewis,
Yes.
I want to say thank you so much for spending the past hour with us. It has been very informative, and there is priceless information that you have bestowed upon us this afternoon. I want to let you know that you're welcome to our studios anytime. Just give us a couple hours notice and we'll fit you in.
Thank you.
I want to again mention to our audience that coming up next week, we're going to have a grand opening of our Talk It Up show. We think we have ironed out the bugs to a point. We know that it's still a learning curve for us. Our website is up. It's called www.talkitupradioshow.com. We are now on Twitter, we're now on Facebook, and we're now on Instagram. But I will have to get my daughter to run Instagram because I've been trying all evening with my phone and I'm sending pictures to myself. So we have to work that out. Coming up next is the Jamming Radio Show Live. We have DJ Countryman and Genius in the studios, and my good friend DJ Faze. They have some wicked music lined up for you. And I'm going to tell you that when they're in the studios, man, I don't want to leave. But Dr. Lewis is saying something to me there.
She wants to wrap it up with her contact information.
Oh, I'm sorry. There you go again.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Compro Tax Orlando is located at 4516 North Pine Hills Road, Orlando, Florida, 32808. The phone number is 407-290-8433. Cell phone 321-285-9617. We're open 9 to 5, Saturday by appointments only. And call in, and we will treat you with respect and dignity.
Thank you, Dr. Stewart.
Thank you, Dr. Lewis.